Welcome to the first edition of Inside Out There with Boyd Martin and the Vibrant Living newsletter. In this series, we explore the inner realms of consciousness and the bridge between the microcosmic and the macrocosmic, exploring the terrain of inner worlds and how those worlds become the life we are living right now. Finding inspiration. Last month I had an appointment with an area shaman, Michelle Lucian, out of Encinitas, who specializes in emotional freedom technique. That's EFT, also known as tapping. My neighbor had raved about the sessions she received from Michelle, so it piqued my curiosity enough to call her and make an appointment. On my way to the meeting, I assessed my current existential angst and attempted to put a few words or phrases together to describe it when the time came during the session. What ended up coming out of my mouth surprised me a little, but it rang truer to myself than I thought it would. We exchanged pleasantries and sat for a moment in silence. "So, how can I help you?" she asked, smiling. "Well, I have an existential conundrum," I began professorially. "If just being is enough in the eyes of God, then why do anything?" I gestured with palms up. "I mean, it seems that whenever I get an idea or an inspiration, I come across this conundrum that seems to block it straight away." I had remembered what the great economic philosopher Charles Eisenstein said in his preface to his book, Sacred Economics. Quote, "These ideas are nothing new. What can I add that's going to move anything forward?" End quote. He then proceeded to blow my mind with his tremendously creative amalgamation and synthesis of ideas. Michelle sat for a moment, reading me, and suddenly the question, "Have you had a loss of a loved one lately?" popped into my head. It, the conundrum, might be partially related to Shay's passing, I offered. Shay was my life partner for 12 years, who succumbed to cancer last year. Michelle proceeded to process me through the final remnants of that loss, and I was very aware that Shay was in the room, as was Michelle. And then, spontaneously, I got the answer to the conundrum, and I blurted out, "That's why there's time. It's time that draws out beingness into doingness. But it is inspiration that drives the divine expression of ourselves." I felt oddly relieved for making that connection, and as I sat with the ramifications of it, it occurred to me that in the cosmic order of things, there is no wrong action anyone can take. Sure, we are completely free to be as destructive as we want. Heck, even nature does that. And it could be said that destruction is a form of creation, but when creation comes from loving inspiration, that is where we can really shine. Michelle pointed out that I was a particular soul type. This type of soul is an idea factory, quote, quote, highly creative and always able to come up with ideas about anything. However, this soul type also must have fun. If it stops being fun, then this type either drops it or suffers under the delusions of a commitment. And there was the key for me. Yes, I have lots of ideas, but only a few of these ideas seem really fun. What makes them fun? Inspiration. It's the act of creating an idea out of an inspiration that gets my mojo working. This is opposed to just coming up with random ideas without any inspiration or impetus to action. So, if it's inspirational and fun, I'm going to do it. And it's perfectly okay to stop if I'm no longer having any fun. Thank you, Michelle. We did some tapping to ground this renewed perspective, and I left Michelle's office on a cloud. I continued processing along this line of thought and feeling, observing what inspires me in the outside world and what of my ideas are inspirational. What was interesting is that my life is pretty much set up to follow my inspirations, and all that was stopping me was my own judgment about how valuable my ideas might be in the world. I know now that is not how valuable my ideas are. It's that they are my ideas being expressed through me. That is the point of this game called life. Expressing your ideas from a space of loving inspiration is what I have come to believe transforms this world into the paradise we all believe life can truly be. For the Vibrant Living Newsletter, this is Boyd Martin signing off. This has been Inside Out There, a Mystic Broadcast Network production, produced in affiliation with Subtle Energy Solutions and the Vibrant Living Newsletter. Subscribe to this YouTube channel to stay informed about new episodes and visit us at www.subtleenergysolutions.com, where quantum physics meets personal healthcare.